This video deals with the structure of phrases. So let's first talk about what a phrase is. In order to build a phrase, we need to start with a word. Here I have a noun. Now I can add other words to this phrase, for example, an article, but the focus is still the word book. That's the main idea here. All I've done is made it a specific book. I could even continue to describe this book, but all of these words are related to the one book. Let's add a modifier to the end. Nice long prepositional phrase. However, all of the words present are related to that one thing, the book. This word is called the head word. It is the main word in the phrase that all the other words are related to. And our head word in this phrase is a noun, so that makes this a noun phrase. The noun phrase functions like one big noun. I could say book, that's a noun, or the book with green bindings, it's also a noun. So there are 5 different types of phrases in English, and here they are. In this video, I'm only going to talk about the first 3, and I think once you get the hang of using noun, verb, and prepositional phrases, adjective and adverb phrases will come very easy. But we're just going to talk about those first 3. You can see I've highlighted the head word, the main word in all of the 5 phrases that are present. And the main word, the head word, is always that type of word. In other words, in a noun phrase, the head word is a noun. In a verb phrase, the head word is a verb, etc., etc. Let's talk a little bit more about noun phrases and how they work. Here's that noun phrase that we've been working with. It's not a complete idea, though. In order for it to be a complete sentence, we're going to need a subject and a verb. So here we are. Now I have a complete idea. Now, a noun phrase doesn't have to be a singular noun. Here's a plural noun, dogs, and I've added a few modifiers. Again, we need a subject and a verb. Here is an example with a quantifier and an adverb, all of these words modifying the word people. Let's make it a complete sentence again. And one special note here is that gerunds, verbs that take an ing form, are nouns, actually. When they are in phrases like this, they are nouns. Promoting Veronica is an idea, it's a thing, so it's a noun phrase. And we'll just make that a complete sentence as well. You might ask yourself, how can I know if I'm dealing with a noun phrase? Well, if you can replace that phrase with a pronoun, it, for example, you know you're dealing with a noun phrase. Because all nouns can be replaced with pronouns. I lost the book, I lost it. Let's replace these other ones with pronouns as well. So those aren't the only pronouns we can use, but those are just some examples. So remember that. If you can replace the entire phrase with a pronoun, you're dealing with a noun phrase. Now, in all of these examples, my noun phrase is the object of the sentence. And I don't want you to think that's the only place for a noun phrase to appear after the verb. We can have different positions. The noun phrase can be a different element of the sentence. So here are some more examples. In the first one, I've now made that phrase, the new book with green bindings, my subject. It's before the verb. So a noun phrase can be the subject or the object. If you look in the second example, I have 2 noun phrases, a subject and an object. In the third example, the same thing. And I want to make a special note that a phrase can be one word. Mary is a proper noun, and a noun phrase are essentially the same thing, though we often think that a phrase needs to have multiple words in it. Mary is the noun phrase in this sentence, is a noun phrase. And the last one, I've taken that gerund, promoting Veronica, made it the subject. And I also have a noun phrase that is a complement, not an object. It appears after a linking verb. So noun phrases can be subjects, objects, or complements in a sentence. Okay, so now I want to talk about verb phrases. Just like we saw with noun phrases, there's a head word. This is the example from earlier. And the head word is the verb, is the main verb in the phrase. Any other verb that appears in a verb phrase is an auxiliary. So here are some more examples using the verb fix. And you'll see in each case there may be an auxiliary, and it's not the head word if it's there. Sometimes there is no auxiliary, but we've had to alter the head word in some way. And that change, or the presence of auxiliaries or not, depends on the verb tense. The verb tense, the voice of the verb, if it's active or passive, and in some cases the agreement with the subject, like the fourth example, it's third person singular in the simple present, he or she or it. That might change our verb as well. You'll notice the third and fourth example are single word phrases as well. Just like with the noun phrases, one word can act as the verb phrase. So let's look at how these work in a sentence. So there's that first one again. It's not a complete idea, just like a noun phrase. No phrase alone is a complete idea. So let's make it let's give it a subject, and now it is a complete idea. My car has been fixed. And I have a subject, which is actually a noun phrase, and a verb phrase. So all of my subjects are nouns or noun phrases, and they need to act before the verb. So let's see some of the other examples. So this one's in the present continuous, and lo and behold, there are two more noun phrases here. You're starting to see, I guess, now that subjects and objects that appear with our verbs are going to be noun phrases. One more example. Here I have a linking verb, is, and linking verbs are followed by complements. This complement is an adjective phrase, though you could probably put a noun phrase here as well. Okay, one little note though. We're looking at these verb phrases and we're seeing that there's a head word and there may or may not be auxiliaries, but there is one more type of word that can appear within the verb phrase, and those are adverbs. So compare these sentences without and with adverbs. Now the adverb appears generally between the main, in front of the main verb. And these adverbs are actually a part of the verb phrase. They're not a separate element, though adverbs may appear somewhere else in the sentence as well. So you're not only looking at auxiliaries in the verb phrase, but also adverbs. Okay, the last one I'd like to talk about are prepositional phrases. The example that I gave earlier was this one. Of course, the head word in a prepositional phrase is a preposition, and they always come first. Unlike other phrases where the head word might appear in a different place, in a prepositional phrase, the first word is the preposition, is the head word. Have a look at the second part of my phrase. It's actually a noun phrase, the bridge downtown, where the head word is bridge. Here are a couple more examples of prepositional phrases. And you can see they begin with a preposition and are followed by a noun phrase. So an interesting note about a prepositional phrase is that they always contain a noun phrase. We have the head word, a preposition, and then the rest, which is a noun phrase. Let's see those in complete sentences. Again, these are not complete ideas, so we need to fill in the rest. Here are some complete sentences using those prepositional phrases. Notice the other elements of the sentence are there. Generally, the prepositional phrase is going to come after the other elements of the sentence, though sometimes they come in front as well. But they don't separate the subject and the verb. And the rest of the sentence there is our prepositional phrase, which contain noun phrases. So we have phrases within phrases. That being said, have a look at the third example. I've added at the end another prepositional phrase. There's the head word. This is a whole new prepositional phrase containing a noun phrase, but it is a modifier to the noun phrase, a crossroads. What type of crossroads? A crossroads in their lives. So here we have a larger noun phrase. I know this is getting a little complex here, but break it down. We have two noun phrases, a crossroads, and their lives, each within a prepositional phrase, at a crossroads, in their lives. But in their lives is part of the noun phrase, a crossroad in their lives. And all of this entire chunk here has a head word at. This is a larger prepositional phrase. So on a big scale, we can see just one big prepositional phrase, but you can break it down into multiple prepositional phrases and noun phrases.